Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, the death face in bodybuilding. As you can plainly see, Rafael Brandao on the left, chubby-cheeked, he has been eating cake. And on the right side, this guy hasn't seen food in weeks. He has what we like to call in the bodybuilding community, the death face. And it seems like bodybuilders, they are not afraid to post these pictures on Instagram. Remember Nick Walker a couple of years back? He posted this, and everybody, including myself, made videos. Oh, look, Nick Walker has the death face. Usually, these guys hit the stage, and it's not really the case, is it? Except for Chris Bumstead. This guy really has what I like to call the death face. And after this video is all done, you guys will probably agree that today, bodybuilders just don't have a true death face anymore. So when did it all begin? Back in Arnold's day? Well, not really. Even though Arnold, he had a bit of a muzzle face. Big high cheekbones and the lower cheeks sucked in. That was more of his genetics. He's a horse face, but it did somewhat resemble a death face. There's an actor, too. You guys ever see this man, Brian Thomas? Now, you tell me, is that not a genetically gifted man when it comes to the death face? I don't think he was actually ripped, though. This actor here, however, Vincent Clean from Cyborg, he had the death face, and he was, in fact, peeled. You guys remember that guy? Death face from Cyborg? Anyway, back to bodybuilding. Old Zayn, he was as shredded as they come, but doesn't always translate to a bad or a good death face. I guess for this video it is the worst death faces of all time. And Frank Zayn, other than this picture here, really he didn't display one. You know who did? Danny Padilla. I think Danny Padilla, this guy has caves in that face. He had perhaps the first true death face in bodybuilding. But the funny thing is, it was only really at the 1981 Olympia, saved myself there, 1981 Mr. Olympia event. But wow, looks like a drowned rat, for goodness sakes. There was a couple more. I mean, if you look up and down the roster hard enough, Boyer Co. kind of resembled that, and Samir Banu as well. But honestly, throughout the rest of the 80s, there really wasn't too many, aside from the odd guy like Tony Pearson, who did, in fact, he did have what I like to call a death face. But in 1992, the world had seen a death face that you could call your own. I mean, this one here. Dorian Yates had caves, caverns. You could see every little individual muscle. It was sickening. It actually scared people. Back in the day, he would show his face and people would get scared. I mean, I'm looking at the picture, and I'm a little bit frightened. So Dorian Yates, hands down, is the undisputed champion of the death face. Who had the best? Who had the worst? Dorian Yates. And the funny thing is, back then there was several other dudes, namely Kevin Levrone. But the thing about Kevin Levrone, he was standing right next to Yates, so people don't appreciate the caves and caverns that this man had. But I'm here to tell you, if there was a silver medal in the worst death faces of all time, 1992, Kevin Levrone, absolutely. And what about Sean Ray? I'm sure you guys are going to mention Sean Ray. Not really. 1996, I think maybe was his death faciest. But other than that, guys, 1992 was the golden age of the corpse face. So what happened? Why no more death face? Ronnie King Coleman, he was peeled and shredded, things of that nature. Maybe it has something to do with carbing up, filling up. You eat a little piece of cake or something to carb up and your cheeks explode. Surely Jay Cutler, he was conditioned as well as Coleman, but they just didn't really have it. Until 2002, when Coleman walked out there, he looked like an Egyptian mouse or one of those cats. I mean, this dude had the 1990s death face. But he was small. So perhaps carving up, it affects your face more than we think. And as we moved on to the mid to later 2000s, we seen those huge, exploding, full muscles that bodybuilders needed to win competitions. So they didn't have that ectoskeleton face, that corpse face anymore. Even 2018, as peeled as Sean Roden was, he really didn't display it. Had he Shupin, he might have one. He is as shredded as the guys from the 90s in the midsection, things of that nature. He might have one underneath that great big excellent beard. But for the most part, today's bodybuilders, with all due respect now, I'm not saying they're not conditioned, I just believe that they do not have a true death face when compared to back in the early 90s. But it takes getting filled up, carved up, to be able to stand in these lineups and not look small. So I honestly believe the carving up process, which they really didn't do a whole lot of back in the day, is the cause of the lack of death faces in bodybuilding, and probably an increase of dates for Saturday night. And speaking of dates for Saturday night, when it concerns the women's bodybuilding, I have seen people make videos and say the death face is even worse for the women, things of that nature, probably because they're better looking to begin with, and we notice their face more. So for this video, we are absolutely gonna lay off the lovely ladies of the IFBB, because call me old-fashioned, it's just not polite to say a woman has a death face. So at the end of the day, Dorian Yates is the undisputed king of the corpse face. I mean, look at the before and after. Unbelievable. Actually, this is 1994. So it's after and before. But you know what I'm saying. This guy is unrecognizable when he's all chubby-cheeked versus when he is ectoskeleton. So Dorian Yates, the best death face? Oh no. I almost completely forgot.
I would expect an imbecile like yourself to forget about Skeletor. Now settle down, muscle boy, and crown me the true king of the death face, Skeletor!